yes, that is what we'll focus on now. So several attempts have been made to get across to the Commissioner of Police in Plateau, but as we speak, they're not available to speak. So who knows? We'll keep trying, because you said people need to hear what really is going on. What are the authorities doing to ensure these things don't keep happening? Because there's some allegations made against them about some of the bullets that were eventually removed in some of those attacks in those states. But we might as well just go ahead anyways. Markwa?
Indeed, Chamberlain, thank you so much for sending back here. We have with us Honorable Dachang Bagos, as you already saw from the introduction there. He is the Deputy Chairman, Anti-Corruption Committee in the House, and also a member of the National Security and Intelligence Committee in the House of Representatives. Honorable, you're welcome to Sunrise Daily this morning.
Thank you, Maupi. Good morning, Nigeria. Let me say, a sad day for us on the Plateau.
Indeed, a sad day on the Plateau and across the country in general. Absolutely. Because, you know, killing in one part of the country, you know, doesn't just look good on the entire country.
Unfortunately.
It is truly disturbing. I think it's particularly disturbing on the Plateau because it's been a while we've seen killings like this on the Plateau. There have been attempts to, you know, bring this to the barest minimum. Even for a long time we didn't hear about this sort of killings, and it looks like they're back. I mean, it looks like this is about to, you know, start all over again. You heard one of the commissioners there of the governor saying, you know, they're reversing gains that have been made before now. What do you think could be responsible for this reversal of gains, this renewed attacks on the Plateau?
More to be truth, lack of justice. As I'm standing, since 2001 till date, you cannot handpick one person that has been convicted or is in jail today as a result of the killings on the Plateau or other parts of the Middle Belt. So lack of justice. Once there is no justice, once there is no kind of enforcement that somebody must be held responsible, then definitely the person that usually perpetrates such acts will continue. Because no single person has been convicted as a result of the killings on the Plateau. Single. So either in the court of law or that this person has been sentenced to 5-10 years in jail because as a result of the killings. So lack of justice, definitely, because the people that are being killed, I always say that the people that are being killed every day seek for justice. But what they usually get is political peace. So if we have sustainable political peace for a long time, you always have this kind of attacks will come and go, come and go. Give it to the STF or the security or whatever. Every day they bring in different worrying factors. They bring in the Fulani headsmen, discuss peace. Bring in this one, discuss peace. But I always say that any peace on a tea table without justice through what has happened behind, then definitely it will go, well, they will not do anything for us. And they will continue. So lack of justice has led us to where we are today. 18 people have been killed. It's 24 hours. What arrests have been made so far? Where is being searched today after these people have been killed? Rather, we have families are crying all over because they have lost their loved ones. So it's just the usual story that perpetrators will be brought to book, while the book of those that are being killed is like filled up, and the books of the perpetrators is still empty. So when lack of justice continue on daily basis, then definitely the perpetrators will continue because nobody will bring them back to book.
Why do you think, though, that politicians have preferred what you term political peace?
Well, for whatever political reasons, you know, Nigeria has been so cowed with politics of religion and ethnicity. Somebody somewhere is sitting down that, well, these are my people, so I will not want to drag them to justice. Somebody somewhere is saying that, well, they are my religious people, so I will not want to drag them to expose my own people. But for how long are we going to continue to do like this? If it is your brother, if it is your sister that is causing this issue, bring him to book. Let's see that, look, the system is working. Because there's a difference between the system is working than a politician that is on seat is working. We shouldn't, governance shouldn't be rallied round by just political will.
How loudly, I mean, is this point of view which you are expressing, you know, how loudly is it being heard in government quarters, in the quarters that should
as loud as anything? These are issues that we have been crying for on the plateau. These are issues, just like the pastor was talking, and in a developed country, just those shells, those just bullet shells can lead you to where and who owns it. In a developed country, just the bullet shell from forensic analysis, from forensic investigation, they will be able to dictate that this bullet was one time sold to this person, this was the dispatch, or from wheresoever, just from the bullets. So if we are saying that we cannot, at this point in time in the 21st century, dictate movement of people into a community. I'm not saying this is not a farm. You're not even saying that they went to the farm so they were attacked in a bush. This is a community of hundreds of people. So security cannot and could not have dictated the movement of people coming into a community of hundreds of people to gun down people. Come on. Definitely, one will not be wrong to say that there is some level of complicity somewhere.
There's obviously a lack of trust on the part of the people, you know, for the security agencies.
That is there.
That has been an underlying thread for a number of the attacks that have happened in the middle belt of the country. I mean, you hear the Benue State governor telling the people to, you know, own a dang gun at least. Yeah. Here you hear the pastor there saying, you know, the bullets were taken away without taking away the bodies of those who were affected. This is not the first time that we're seeing this level of distrust for security agencies. Has anything been done to try and earn the trust of the people on the plateau?
Like I said earlier, as far as I'm concerned, I know that the STF and the police have tried as much as possible to bring in different community leaders together to discuss a way forward. And they do that like on almost on daily basis. They bring in people, discuss, they bring in headsmen, they bring in farmers, bring in community leaders from all aspects, discussing way of life. Okay, shield your sword. And everybody will say, okay, no brother, and everybody will hawk himself. You go back. That same day, attack will happen. That same day. So if you could identify these people to the table to discuss peace, and again, an attack happened in the evening, why can't you identify them? If you can identify them to the table to discuss peace, and you cannot identify them when they kill people, then something is wrong somewhere. So that is where the mistrust happens. Because you can't tell us that you brought us to the table that let's discuss peace, don't kill again. You people, you can go to your farm, and everybody will shake hands and go. And in the evening, somebody is killed and nobody is arrested. So how can the people trust the system that have called them to discuss peace? And how can you call these people an unknown gunman or headsman that you cannot identify? But you can identify headsmen to the table to discuss peace. But you cannot identify headsmen that come to kill. Where is this trust? We appreciate their sense of reasoning that let's discuss peace. But we need to build that trust, that we need to start seeing people are being convicted.
Well,
we need to start seeing people are taken to jail. We need to start seeing someone is being held responsible. Time has come that we can no longer wait for political peace and discussing issues that cannot give us a way forward.
Is this a one-sided thing, though? I mean, oftentimes it would seem that the farmers are the victims. But have there been times when the herders, in quote, have also suffered losses?
Have you seated here? Have you ever had the report that the herders are being killed, just like you are hearing the report of our community people are being killed? Where is the report? We want to. Where are the dead bodies of such people? And people usually say that it's communal clash. If it is a clash, me and you were clashing, definitely at the end of the day, you will have blood somewhere, or have swollen faces somewhere.
We've asked those
have
questions.
Casualties.
We've asked those questions before, and they say, oh, oftentimes those people are able to carry the bodies of their people away.
Oh.
In all of the conversations that you have had, and you are from the Plateau, and this is not the first time. There was a time when, I mean, under the governor, Jonah Jang, there were, you know, it would seem consistent attacks on the Plateau. I do not know, you know, if you have been involved in these conversations before now, but they're not new.
No, absolutely.
They've been
whether you were in position or not in position from 2001 that we started having such crises and such issues on the Plateau. At some level, you will have reconciliation, you have peace summits, you have a lot, and at some point, you have this give and take and this and that. But after 2 years, 1 year down the line, something again usually happen. And some will say it's a reprisal attack. And so I say, okay, if it is a reprisal attack, who started what? Where did it start from? Who did this community that lost different family members? 7 family members, father, mother, children, even with a small child of about 1 year old. Someone will look at that child of 1 year old and cut him off. And you call that a reprisal attack? You call that you are revenging what? Or you call that communal clash? And at the end of the day, nobody will be taken nobody will be convicted for the killing of a 1 year old child. And we are in this country?
You heard there, I think this particular community was very clear when they said that the attacks were unprovoked. They were unprovoked in this instance. But some dailies have said, I mean, I'm looking at Daily Trust, for instance, and they have the 7 killed in Plateau, even though there were 2 separate attacks in reprisal. I do not know, unless one conducts an investigation, to know whether there has been a prior attack. The level of injustice there, I mean, when you look at the people, you know, when you look at how helpless, how defenseless they are, it's very mind-boggling, to be very honest. Yeah. However, you know, you have to keep asking the questions, what could cause this level of inhumaneness, where we get to where we don't care anymore about human lives?
You see, sorry. You see, it has come to a stage and understanding that we no longer value human lives as a people or as whosoever is in authority at one point or the other. If we can fight for votes as politicians, if we can fight for party supremacy, if we can fight for seniority, if we can lobby for contracts, if we can lobby for jobs, if we can lobby for a lot of things, why can't we lobby for justice? Why can't we, at the end of the day, say that human lives value? If we can send 20,000 police security agencies to one state because of election, why can't we send 20,000 of those to go and search for the perpetrators of those that are killing our people in various villages. If we can vote hundreds and billions of naira for elections, if we can vote hundreds and billions of naira for political reasons, why can't we vote that kind of amount of money to save lives? Western world can spend billions of dollars just to come and rescue one citizen. And we can't spend that amount of money to protect our people.
It's a question of priority.
Absolutely.
What do you think needs to shift for the focus to now come to, to the primary mandate of why we even undertake elections in the first instance?
I wouldn't be wrong, and I will lean my voice to people that are saying that, look, our unity as a country needs to be discussed, needs to be renegotiated. We need to understand where we stand as a people. There's no two way about that. We need to come back to the table. We need to ask questions. It is when the leaders are back to the table, we need to ask questions. Come on. In the 60s, in the 70s, we are not getting this, and us in our own generation, we are getting this, then what will our children come and get? If we are getting this at this very particular point in time, what will our children, by the way, how sure are we our children that we get if a 1-year-old can be killed? So we need to come to the there is no two way about. We need to really discuss this as leaders. We need to look ourselves to it and say, look, can this thing work?
So let me come back to the fact that you are in the House. You're sitting on committee. I mean, you're deputy chairman of one of the committees, and you're also a member of the intelligence, the committee on intelligence. I do not know how how your oversight is conducted, but I don't know if you've had the chance to pose those questions to our intelligence community. My colleague continues to maintain that it is not possible that these attacks happen, that hundreds of people move to a community to go and wreak havoc, and security agencies are not aware.
Let me tell you, in fairness to some of the intelligence organizations, there is no, on daily basis, they have intelligence on movement. They have intelligence on and that's why you have some of the security agencies, they say that there is no synergy. Because DSS and other agencies will gather intel, enough intel on movement, enough intel on suspicions of movement, enough intel, but execution is a problem. Execution is a problem. And that was why I think some times back, if you could remember, the customs that are not, they got intelligence, but because their intelligence have not been used over time, they have to make it public. So intelligence on insecurity in Nigeria, it is there. Our problem is the political will to give the marching order of execution. So you can't tell me that it's not possible, you don't have it. Even in your own house, if you're sleeping, you just have some movement, you stand up and look and peep over the window. That's intelligence. You are now so aware and conscious of your own environment.
Because the question, I mean, yesterday also there were protests around the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway, especially the part in Niger State. Residents and youths blocked that road off, and they were very angry. They were very angry. A number of them asked, how can we keep spending so much money on our security agencies, billions? And they're asking, where is the security? I'm sure this families, this people who have lost loved ones, still going to be mourning the effect, because for a number of media houses, you just go there, you pay a visit, and that's it. They live with the effect on a daily basis. Their loved ones are no longer there.
Absolutely.
And they have to live with the consequences of the fact, the thought that their lives were brutally cut short. I mean, all you have to do is listen to the story of the visually impaired man who lost his wife and his son. And you have to ask, how is he going to live with that, mentally process that? They have to live with that. And then when they maybe get to hear the news about how much has been budgeted for security, they will keep asking themselves, where is the security? We live here in the Federal Capital Territory. I mean, you know how if you want to get close to a security outpost or a security institution, how you're quickly stopped and, you're quickly pushed away. And you have to ask, if they're this efficient and effective in ensuring that people who ought not to come close don't come close, what is going on with the rest of the country?
Maope, these are questions that even at the National Assembly we have asked on the floor. And that's why we're probing funds that have been allocated for ammunition, for arms, and so on and so forth since 2019. That is being probed on the floor of the House. And that's why we're having this security summit that is coming up, and it has been shelved because of the death of the Chief of Army Staff. A lot of questions we need to ask the executive, because if the executive had implemented some of the resolutions on the floor of the House, we couldn't have been where we are today. I always say it, and I still maintain it. And if the political will to be able to channel the right and the accurate resources in some certain areas, we couldn't have been where we are today. And if some people were not gullible enough to say that, to divert a lot of things to their own pocket for selfish reasons, we couldn't have been here today. And if you look at the visually impaired person, imagine the trauma that he's going through. Imagine now, if we don't try to condone people like that, first of all, he's already a victim for anything. He has lost his wife, he has lost his, so what else? So he's ready to do anything. Those kind of people, if Boko Haram come in today or any militia group and say what is left for me, so let's go, let's just all of us, let's die, and so far as I can no longer defend myself, so let me just join you people to do the wars. We are breeding people that at the end of the day will come and harm us. Because if they don't get justice, and I will still emphasize, if they don't get justice, the impact against us is going to be high. I don't see a politician that will enter that community now for campaign. What will you tell them? When you cannot ensure and secure them, so what are you going to tell them? You're going to give them promises again?
This is Niger State yesterday. This is Abuja Kaduna Way, the Niger part of it.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, all you had to do was listen to the young people express themselves.
And you can see all the people that have come out to protest are the youths.
Yes, they're young people.
Because they feel that, look, our future, we no longer have a future. We no longer have assurance that this is the direction. 80% of youths in this country, they cannot assure you that this is where they will be in the next 5 years. They can project the next 10 years for you on paper, but with what we have on ground, they can't assure you. They can't be so sure that in the next 5 years they are not seeing any light. And I always ask the elders, which I always say, that most of them before, when they were in secondary school, employments were waiting for them left, right, center. Mm. So why can't they guarantee the same to us now?
So even if we're not even talking employment, at least it's those that are alive that will
definitely be employed.
That will get jobs.
Because everywhere was safe, there was security, everywhere was just... And when you start looking at some of these issues, that we don't have an economic projection development plan according to our population. that if we are 200 million people now, we don't have any security projection plan. We are still looking at our security architecture as it is in 1980. So if we are looking at the security architecture as if it is 1980, how will you 20, 30 years after, how will you be able to address such issues? What latest of the military or the hardwares do we have of the 21st century in Nigerian, the entire Nigerian army? Maybe SSS or whether maybe, but I have not seen any of our military on the road or police on the road holding new AK-47. None. All the AK-47 you see, that coffee brown, that brown wooden whatever, has been as if they want to remove it and use it as a firewood. So when we don't have that kind of assurance that, look, our security are ready, that when you see what you see on TV, you see you see some of those Marines and SEALs doing all those hours. What do we have here?
I think that, all the questions that you have tabled out today in response to the questions I've also tabled to you should form sufficient matters on the agenda for the House of Representatives Summit, Security Summit.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of Nigerians will be looking forward to that summit to see what will eventually come out of it, whether it will move from talk to action and translate into the security that they desire. But we have to thank you for coming and sharing your thoughts this morning. Honorable Dachong Bagos is the Deputy Chairman Anti-Corruption Committee in the House and also a member of the National Security and Intelligence Committee in the House of Representatives. Sunrise Daily will take a break now. We'll be back shortly. Please stay with us.